Welcome back, guys. So the rumor mill is churning once again concerning Nintendo. There's a lot of talk going on concerning the possibility of a GameCube Mini Classic Edition. Craziness, right? Why would people be thinking this? We just barely got the Super Nintendo Classic last holiday, re-release of the NES Classic Edition, in a few days here. It's madness, right? We haven't even gotten a Nintendo 64 Mini. There hasn't even been any confirmation concerning that. But when you go back and you look at the trends concerning Nintendo and trademarks, I completely understand why some people would think this. Nintendo filed trademarks concerning the NES, the Super NES, and boom, we got Classic Edition systems. Just recently, back in May, they filed trademarks concerning the Nintendo 64, and it got a lot of us talking once again. But this time, Nintendo's filed not just one, but 3 trademarks concerning the GameCube. And these trademarks have nothing to do with merchandising. They're hardware and software based. And, logically, a lot of people are speculating, does this have to do with a Classic Edition? Well, we skipped the Nintendo 64, so I really doubt that it has to do with the GameCube Classic Edition. Do I think we'll ever get one? Sure, but we still haven't even gotten a Nintendo 64 one, so I think that's out of the realm of possibility at this moment, and I feel like this has something more to do with some other things that possibly could be going on, and that's what I want to talk about today. So with these trademarks, they filed several trademarks for other properties and names as well. They filed another one concerning Nintendo Entertainment System, another one for the Game Boy, and we already have a Nintendo Entertainment System Mini. The Game Boy we haven't gotten yet, and they've already filed trademarks concerning that before. I think a lot of times these companies, they file trademarks, they re-up on things to protect their properties, and that makes sense. That's what they need to do. With the GameCube in particular, I think it has more to do with some other things that are going on. So Smash Ultimate's coming out. We all know about it. They're re-releasing GameCube controllers and the adapter. So I think part of that may have to do with the hardware aspect of these GameCube trademarks. Obviously, controllers and an adapter, the little 4-player adapter to plug into the Switch, same thing that we got for the Wii U. Those are hardware solutions for the Switch to play GameCube style, Smash Brothers. But I also think Nintendo may be banking on some other things here. Now, Nintendo's already stated there is no virtual console, unfortunately. A lot of people are disappointed with that. Some people could care less. I'm kind of in the middle there. I think it would be cool to have a virtual console, but with what they are doing concerning their online service and, you're getting access to old school games with some online capabilities and whatnot, I think that's kind of neat. For the $20 price tag for the year, not crazy bad. If you have a family like I do, we have 2 Nintendo Switches, that's going to add up. My second Nintendo Switch that my kids use, they have multiple accounts on that. I believe yearly you pay $35 for a family account. So I'm sitting at like, 55, 60 bucks already, which is on par with, about what the PlayStation and the Xbox charge for their online service. So I'm excited, but then I'm kind of not at the same time. But with that, they have announced that we're getting 10, there's 20 games in total right now, but they've only really talked about 10. And they're all NES games with some additional multiplayer aspects or online aspects. And with them saying no virtual console and pretty much this online service is replacing that, I don't think this is necessarily going to be, kind of held back to just NES games. Fully believe it's going to go way beyond that. It's pretty obvious, This is replacing the virtual console in a sense. We're going to have NES games to begin with. I'm sure Super Nintendo's going to slide in there. I really don't know if they're going to be reaching out to other companies and getting like, Sega Genesis and TurboGrafx stuff like they did with their virtual console and the Wii and the Wii U. Would be kind of cool, but I don't 100% know that's what's going to happen with their online service. I don't think they're really wanting to share, those royalties with other companies. I could be wrong, but we'll have to wait and see. But I think possibly at some point with this online service, we may see possibly some cloud-based or streaming type thing going on with games, possibly games that are, you know, they're going to take up a lot of space, like GameCube games, for example. You know, they already are saying we're going to have cloud-based, you know, saves and transfers and stuff like that. And I think they definitely could expand that to, you know, streaming games, similar to how, you know, the PlayStation does with their services that they have. I think that's highly likely, but another possibility could be just simply, hey, they do give you access to downloading maybe a GameCube game here and there. Another possibility could definitely be that they re-release, you know, GameCube games as, you know, maybe GameCube classics and re-release them on, you know, physical media for the system, for the Nintendo Switch, and you can use those GameCube controllers and GameCube adapter to play these on the Nintendo Switch. I don't know 100%, but I feel like that is possibly likely. You know, I really think that would be pretty cool of them to do. There's definitely a ton of classics on the GameCube. Just, you know, too many to count. You know, it's really a classic, awesome system. You know, they could re-release Mario, what was it, Sunshine, F-Zero, you know, and a handful of other games that they had on the GameCube. Some of them have already gotten, you know, HD remakes, like the Wind Waker and whatnot, but I feel like there's definitely a ton of games that they could revisit from the GameCube on the Nintendo Switch. And I think a lot of people would dig that. Nintendo Switch is already a port factory to begin with. Non-stop with the Wii U ports, which is fairly understandable since the Wii U didn't perform as well as Nintendo would have hoped. So a lot of people didn't have access to those games because either they were confused what the heck the Wii U was, or just never, you know, bit that hook and jumped into that you know, that Nintendo world of the Wii U. A lot of people didn't, and you know, the Nintendo Switch has surpassed Wii U sales, you know, Wii U lifetime sales, just in its first year of, you know, being out there. So definitely a crazy thing. The GameCube did fairly well. A lot of the games sold fairly well, but I definitely think it would be cool to see some of those games ported over to the Switch. Some people might be against me on that, like, no, we don't want no more ports. No more ports. That's nuts. We don't want to see this nonsense. We want fresh, new stuff. And I agree with you, but at the same time, we have to kind of face reality with some of this stuff concerning Nintendo. They like to rehash things, re-release things. You know, they've done that for a while on numerous systems, their handhelds included. And they have a ton of games on the GameCube that they could remaster and people would eat them up. Either remaster or just simply port them over. I don't even think they need to necessarily remaster some of these games. I think just a simple port may work. So those are kind of some of the things I'm thinking about with these trademarks. I don't think the time is right for a GameCube Mini Classic Edition. Really, the reason I don't think it's possible at this time is not that Nintendo couldn't do it, but I think just the cost behind it would be too much for, you know, the people just going in the store and you know, impulse buying a plug-and-play system. You know, a lot of collectors are into the Nintendo stuff, so it's not just all casual or, you know, impulse buys, but definitely a lot of it is, you know, people wanting to jump back into their past and play some awesome Nintendo games. But I just think the cost behind producing a GameCube Mini would just be too high right now. I think costs need to go down on, you know, the actual, you know, boards that they would use, the processors, the GPU, whatever. I think the whole package just not ready for something to be in that plug-and-play market right now. I wouldn't want to see a plug-and-play popping up out there, GameCube or otherwise, for a couple $100. I just... you know, then you're getting in the territory of buying an actual console. So I just don't think the time is right. I do believe at some point in the future Nintendo will do a GameCube Mini, but I think they will definitely follow that path and do a Nintendo 64 one first. So they haven't officially announced anything concerning that, but I'm pretty sure it's going to happen. Maybe not this year. You know, it's already the halfway point, you know, beyond the halfway point of this year. who knows? It might be cool if we get one. If not, I can wait until next year. They did just, you know, they are re-releasing the NES Classic and the Super Nintendo Classic are to both float through the rest of this year, so I don't really think they're going to drop a mini system this year. Next year, though, Nintendo 64 for sure. The following year, GameCube Mini, maybe. But this year, definitely not. So what do you guys think concerning this? Drop a comment down below. I know a lot of people like to jump on these kind of things and say, oh my God, it's going to happen. It happened before, but this time, I think it's really concerning some other things that are possibly going to happen. Definitely the hardware aspect has to do with those components for the Switch. Share your comments down below. I read them all. Really do appreciate it. Smash that like button, subscribe, follow me on Twitter, do all that cool stuff. And I will catch you guys next time. Peace out. Bye-bye.